the day of the tournament, and there are enemies to be slain, skulls to be claimed, blood to be spilled, and all I must do is go forth and take it. Blood for the blood god. We're gonna cut straight to the chase and jump in to game one. Alright? Game one, player plays terrain. I'm playing against World Eaters. Mirror match. Me versus myself. My own worst enemy. What is my opponent bringing? My opponent's bringing a termite drill, berserkers, warp talons. 2 units are chosen with multi-melta in chain axes. I learned that trick now. I know it now. Karn and 2 Reaper batteries. Was I ready for it? I like to think so. What was the mission? The mission? Mission 32. Sweep and clear. It's a 5 objective mission, so you only need to hold 3 to win, which means your opponent can only hold 2. That was my plan, was to hold 3 and win. So, I matched up against World Eaters. We have a nice ruin in between us. We're in the table quarters, so my group of slathering berserkers is ready to charge into his group of berserkers. It's going to be a good time. He starts the drill on the table. He's got those 2 Forge World Leviathan Dreadnoughts just ready to go. I, however, win the roll-off. And so I push up my Venom Crawlers to get them on up. And then I fire off my Excruciator Cannons, and they bounce off the Leviathan Dreadnought. I plinked off a wound on D3 damage. That wasn't fun. His turn. Now, you'll see in the footage that my Venom Crawlers are there with a unit of cultists who I had pushed up into the middle to try and hold the middle objective, because I took direct assault, stranglehold, and grind them down. So I had to kill more than he killed of me, and I had to hold 3 objectives, and I had to hold the middle. It was going to be easy. Wait. I had to hold 3 objectives and hold the middle. It was going to be easy. So I pushed my Rhino around. Couldn't quite get to the objective, but I got close to it. I pushed my other Rhino to the other side. Held back 2 Rhinos, because I learned my lesson. Not to just go rushing forward with all of them. They'll just get blown up. So I held back 2 Rhinos. And now you'll notice in the footage that my Venom Crawlers and the unit of cultists that I pushed up there are basically gone. Like, in 1 second, they're there. You see them in the sweeping shot. In the next moment, they were gone. The Leviathan Dreadnoughts touched them, and they died.
Do I pull the Chosen around? Do I need to?
You really don't need to.
I think I do.
5 up invuln. Ain't nothing to write home about. I'm gonna hold off on Venom Crawlers. Maybe if I had 3, I could solve a problem. Because people do shoot at the Venom Crawlers before they shoot at the Rhinos, which I do like. But I can just hide my Rhinos. I have to push my Venom Crawlers up in order to get value out of them. And we'll see a lot of that in the rest of the tournament. Because other people weren't ready for it. My opponent was. So he ripped them apart with 1 Dreadnought. The other Dreadnought was coming in through the middle, just punching things, smacking things, the way they do. I whiffed an 8-inch charge for my Berserkers, who piled out of a burnt-out Rhino after the termite drill shot at them. Whiffed an 8-inch rerollable charge. It was not good. Then, however, I had a saving grace. Alright? Turn 2, he forgot to screen me out. I had bloodletters waiting. in the war. Okay? And they hopped out. And they charged into his backfield objective. He wasn't ready for it. I piled them into a Karn, 2 Reaper batteries, and a unit of 10 cultists, and I got bloodthirsty. That was my issue. I fought wrong because I was hungry for blood. 10 cultists, Karn, 2 Reaper batteries. I'm charging 20 bloodletters in with a 13-inch charge. 8 inches is enough to touch them because I have a +1 to my charge. So I'm able to touch all of them. Take a moment and think about how you would charge into this. I made the decision to charge most of my bloodletters into the cultist because I wanted to sweep him off the objective. Because Karn and the Reaper batteries weren't on the objective. And so I fought. First with the bloodletters. Killed the cultist. And I thought that maybe the 7 other incidental bloodletters that couldn't get into the cultist would kill Karn. I fought wrong. And I got punished for it. Karn destroyed that unit of bloodletters. And even though I rolled a 1 on morale and brought back 2, it was over for them. Karn just charged into them the next turn. It was a bloodbath in the backfield. Turn 3 comes around and I hardly have any assets. So we call the game. The score, I benefit, scored higher this game than any of my last games in the last tournament. Was 54 to 86. I scored 15 points on the primary in the second battle round. Then no. I scored 25 points. I scored 25 points on the primary, which means all my other points came from my secondaries, which, if you think about it, is kind of good. I had 13 points for direct assault, because I did hold the middle for quite a while. That was good. I got grind, because I did do that once. And stranglehold. I did that once, and it never happened again, because I just got killed off. Do not have the durability to stand on objectives. I knew this going in. I forgot it, because I was so excited to fight against World Eaters.
Honestly, it's gonna do well. We're up to this.
Reroll his dominance.
Game 2. Retrieval mission. Don't like retrieval mission. Alright? It's a 6 objective mission. And it's a hammer and anvil style deployment. Now this board was probably the most 40k board I played on all day. Now, when you see shots of it, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I see it. We had a big line of sight blocking a whole lot of GW terrain just on the board. And it was Sisters, Adepta Sororitas versus World Eaters with Demon support. Turn 1. He goes first. Can't see anything. Perfect. Turn 2, I move up. Well, turn 1, I move up. Hide as much as I can. Try to capture some objectives. Pop out the Dark Apostle. Try to give my 5-up invuln to as many cultists as possible. Interesting thing about this game, I did something that I normally do not do. I took Rod. I took Rod, Assassination, and Engage on all fronts. I did it. And I did not forget Rod. I got 8 points on Rod because of Tide of Traders. But that's later. That's later. Okay? Turn 1. He can't really shoot anything. His secondaries are Sacred Grounds, Assassination, and Grind Them Down. Okay? So I'm just really trying to prevent grind. I know he's going to get Assassination because I use my characters. Sacred Ground, maybe I can kill him off the objective before he can purify it, but probably not. So turn 1, I move up. Forget to capture an objective like in my territory. Could have definitely captured it, but I didn't want any concessions. So I was just like, well, I forgot. So going into turn 2, my opponent scored 15 on the primary. That put him ahead. Alright, we didn't get to finish this game, but it was getting vicious, okay? He scored 15 on the primary because he controlled more objectives than me because, I forgot to capture some. And he moved up. Now, he fired into the Venom Crawlers, and because of the board that we had built, he didn't have much line of sight just to be able to draw to everything. He had a castle at the back of the board that I really wasn't going to be able to do anything to. He had a weak flank on the right side of the board that was like Retributors and some Sisters in the character. Then the left side of the board, that's where he put a lot of his power. He was firing out a line of sight with a mortifier. He had 2 rhinos with nasty ladies inside, Sisters in the middle. He was firing at me, and I was like, you know what? You just killed a unit of Berserkers. Celestine's here. Your Seraphim are here. We're just gonna get crazy. I dropped in a unit of Bloodletters on the left side of the flank, and I went, dived at him, charged at him, killed everything I touched because I had to. Then I slingshotted some Berserkers up to just smash into the Sisters along with a Venom Crawler. I just wanted to rip apart the side of the flank. And that's what I did. And I cleared the objective, taking it. Put him down to 2, so he was only holding 2. Got 10 points in round 3. Round 3 for me, alright? I capitalize. I get 15 points in the primary. I don't think I've ever done that in tournament. Improvement. So, I'm pushing in now on all sides. At the end of round 3, I'm scoring engage on all fronts. I get assassination because that character that was on the left flank. And then I get I get 4 more points for Rod, and then we have to call the game. However, the fact that I prevented him from scoring grind by killing as much as he did or more of his stuff really helped give me a lead because 3 turns of no grind that's 9 points. So, while the game did get called on time, I think that if we had finished it out, it would have been close. But since I had gone second, probably would have won. But that was my first win in a tournament, so I'm taking it 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Difference between us, 2 up or 3 side.
Firing into the secondary guard.
I mean, that'd be cool to read before, but pull them up.
3 each.
Battle Lines was mission 3. I felt confident going into this game. It's Hammer and Anvil. It's 4 objectives, and it's player place terrain. So, I should be good as far as performance goes. I played it as good as I could. Okay? Consistently throughout the game, my opponent only scored 5 on primary. The issue was, I also scored 5 on primary almost every turn, except for in round 3, where I scored 10 on the primary. So at the end of the game, the primary scores were 30 in favor of my opponent, who was playing Thousand Suns, to 25 because he got 15 points in the last turn because I'd been tabled. It hurts. He got first turn, and he did all of his Zinji shenanigans, okay? Warp Ritual, he got 12 out of 15 points on. Assassination, he got 13 out of 15 points on. And Rod, he only got 12 points on, but still, 12 points is enough to do it. So, at the end of the game, 51 points to 77. I got 25 out of 45 on my primary. I got Engage on all fronts for 6. Abhor the Witch for 7. And Vital Ground for 3. Now, his list was comprised of Terminators, 3 units of Rubrikai, Marines, a unit of 10 Terminators, 2 units of 5 Terminators, 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, a Zangor, an Enlightened Sorcerer, and another one of those magic dudes who just cast things. That's how he got a lot of those Warp Ritual points, because I couldn't stop him, playing Corn, and I'm not going to waste a command point trying to stop Warp Ritual when I got -1s coming at me. I don't have the tools to deal with that. This game, it was a good game. 51 to 77, doesn't seem like it, but it's still a close game. You can see on the primary, we were both scoring 5 points. Turn 2, he thought he screened me out. He's like, haha, kept you out in the backfield. I was like, it's okay, I'll come in any field. Dropped a unit of 20 bloodletters in the center of the board and charged them directly into his lines, taking his back objective, killing the 5 Rubrikai that were calling it home, and then I pushed up my Venom Crawler. My Venom Crawler came around, spotted a tasty little Zangor Enlightened, and was just like, well, don't mind if I do. Put on his dining hat, nommed him up. That's how I got my first points on Assassination, so that was cool. It was also the only thing the Venom Crawler did, as, notice how I say Venom Crawler, because the first one died in turn 1. The second one got to kill something, and then died. This turn was where I learned a lot of flaws in my list. The Dark Apostle does nothing. It's not worth taking. It's 80 points and a character that I could say. So, you know what? Taking him out the list. 4 Rhinos? Don't need 4 Rhinos. Dropping 2. Taking him out the list. 4 units of Berserkers. Probably still going to keep that. 2 units of Cultists? Probably going to keep that. Venom Crawlers? Probably don't need them. Taking them out the list. Here's what I'm going to do. Because the Rhinos are great for getting your troops there, provided the Rhino survives. Here's the thing. Everyone can kill a Rhino. I'm better off just hiding my troops as best I can, and then charging from, behind an obscuring building. Rather than taking 80 points on a Rhino, I can take either a bigger group of Berserkers and put them inside of one of my 2 Rhinos. I can spend more points on characters. I can cut a lot out of my list, and I saw that in this last game because basically it was, he put something on a point, my Berserkers would kill it, just one troop of Berserkers because I'd only expose one group, and they would kill it. He put something else on the point after killing of whatever I put there, and we would just trade back and forth. In 9th edition, I mean, it's good to trade, you're supposed to, but the Rhinos really didn't help. I found myself disembarking in turn 1 and moving up behind obscuring cover. I was just like, I don't really need these Rhinos to protect me. Now, I could have won this game. I whiffed an 8-inch rerollable charge and a 9-inch +1, so an 8-inch charge. When my opponent had 0 command points. That feels bad. I failed 3 8-inch rerollable charges during this tournament, and 2 of them were in my Thousand Suns game. And when I rolled that first 8-inch and I failed, my opponent breathed a sigh of relief, and I was like, "That was not good." And he went, "No, it wasn't." Because I failed an 8-inch rerollable charge into Rubric High Flamers with 8 Berserkers that were ready to go. They were just barely poking out, so they were just gonna go, boom, and punch into those Rubric High, and then they were gonna slingshot forward, surround the Contemptor, and pop them. Next turn that they could. The Exalted Champion was gonna hold the objective. It was gonna be awesome. The Bloodletters that I still had, they were gonna do something, but I had to bring them in to clear Terminators off a different objective. It was so much. All because I failed rerollable charges. And that's why I don't think I can put my faith in an 8-inch charge. Maybe a 6. I'm not taking any chances with 8 inches anymore. A lot of this game, like a lot of my games, I found myself losing in my own turn, Like I would charge and maybe die more in Overwatch than I should have. I would lose more in fighting than I should have. It just, it was a learning experience, most definitely, and I feel as though my next list that I bring to the tournament will have those units to trade. It'll have all that I need. So what did I learn this time from this rambly experience that I'm going on about? I learned I can win in a tournament. I can perform and make critical decisions, but also that I need to think more before letting the bloodlust just get in my head, Put a little bit more time into my movements because I pre-measure a lot of things, but I need to think more about the response my opponent has and less about hitting something as hard as possible and trying to obliterate it. Need anti-tank. Dropped to the Venom Crawlers, added in 2 squads of obliterators. Now they can do something. They can come in from deep strike, They're hitting on 3s. If I have them near Karn, they're hitting on 3s, rerolling all failed hits. Put an Exalted Champion, and I think maybe they get rerolls to wound. I don't think so, never mind. So there's places to improve. But next tournament, I'm playing Astra Militarum. So I should probably get to airbrushing. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I kind of rambled a lot. But if you got a tournament review out of that, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, I don't think you got this far. So you should leave a like anyway and subscribe. Catch you on the flip.